Josh McDaniels on the status of quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, who was taken to the hospital by ambulance after halftime of Sunday's win over the New England Patriots. Really, what should have happened back in September of 2006 when Chris Sims' spleen was ruptured during a game and he kept going and nobody bothered to check him. It wasn't until after the game that Jake Delhomme, the Panthers quarterback, said, "You don't look too good," that Sims realized something was amiss. He had a ruptured spleen and almost died, frankly, from that. So teams, the league, far more sensitive to player health. Let's get him to the hospital. Let's get his spleen, his kidneys, his liver, everything inside that body checked out just in case. The good news is, as McDaniel said, they dodged a big bullet. His status, though, for Week 7 is unclear. He goes back to his hometown of Chicago, hometown area, went to college there, grew up there. The Raiders and the Bears, and it could be both teams don't have their starting quarterback. And it apparently will be Aiden O'Connell, Myles, as the starter, even though Brian Hoyer was the one who came in on Sunday in place of Garoppolo.
Yeah, I kind of think it's interesting what the Raiders have done in terms of their backup quarterbacks. Sort of in the in-game situation, McDaniels likes going to Brian Hoyer because he has the experience of needing to go into a game immediately, right? I mean, he's a guy in his mid to late 30s. He's been playing football forever, and he's had to do that before, so he understands it. And then if you're going to, have time over the course of a week to install a game plan, then they're saying, all right, we can go with Aiden O'Connell. And I really thought that O'Connell acquitted himself pretty well a few weeks ago when they were here in Los Angeles playing the Chargers. I mean, there is an argument to be made that the Raiders really should have won that game, in part because of some poor fourth down decisions by the Chargers, right? They had an opportunity to win. They were first and goal at, I believe, the 3-yard line. And then Aiden O'Connell throws an interception because it was a bad play called by the Raiders. But I think if that's what they're going to do, then it makes sense to play the rookie. We've seen him do a little bit. Let's see if he can take another step if Garoppolo can't play this week.
And it would be one rookie against another rookie potentially at Soldier Field in Chicago. Justin Fields unlikely to play this week due to the right thumb injury. It kept him from gripping the ball. That's something we explained on Sunday's Football Night in America. Tyson Bagent from Shepherd University. It's about 3 hours from here, but it is West Virginia Division II. He's a West Virginia kid. Great story. They love him in Chicago. This is his opportunity. And he was not horrible when he came in on Sunday against the Vikings. He did have a turnover that was returned for a touchdown, a fumble, and he did have an interception. But they were driving. Before the interception, and I think his arm got hit or the ball got hit, he got rushed when he threw the ball, and Byron Murphy Jr. picked it off. I thought the Bears were going to win the game. I thought they were going to drive down and win the game, and the legend of Tyson Bagent was going to be born in Chicago, and how differently people would feel about the Bears if they had pulled that off. But it would be Bagent versus O'Connell on Sunday if Garoppolo and Fields can't go. And Myles, right now it looks that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, and frankly, I'd rather watch Bagent than the Peterman for the Bears. So I mean, if you're the Raiders, you're Marcus Peters, you're some of those corners, Nate Hobbs over there, man, you're like, you sure you guys don't want to start the veteran Nathan Peterman? You sure that this is the way you want to go with the rookie? I mean, hey, Peterman's got a veteran presence, and those Raiders DBs are like, hey man, let me get my hands ready. Let me get on the jugs machine. We might see the Peterman this week.
My all-time favorite stat, and I went back and calculated this at the time, when Sean McDermott benched Tyrod Taylor for Nathan Peterman, and that disastrous game against the Chargers, Peterman's passer rating was actually higher if you calculated it from the perspective of him intending to throw the ball to Chargers players instead of Bills players. Higher passer rating that day when you factor in interception returns for touchdowns, et cetera, et cetera. So, I'm surprised Nathan Peterman's still on a roster anywhere, and he's been on and off the Bears roster, but it would be Bagent if we don't have Fields. Doug Peterson says Trevor Lawrence is day-to-day with a knee issue, may split practice reps this week. It's a weird week because it's a short week. Thursday Night Football, Jaguars at Saints. C.J. Beathard is the backup quarterback.
Yeah, he hasn't started a game since 2020 when he was still with the San Francisco 49ers. So that's not an ideal situation. I mean, Doug Peterson was playing it close to the vest yesterday. I was speaking to Nick Sirianni and trying to, not exactly reveal strategy things. Doug Peterson was basically asked, "Hey, is there a chance that he's not going to play?" And Peterson said, "Well, he's day to day," and so he was a non-participant on the let's call it fake injury report, because there was no practice yesterday. You don't practice when you're coming off of a game. You might have gone through maybe a light walkthrough, but if the Jaguars had practice, Trevor Lawrence would not have practice. So we'll see what happens today. This is kind of the only day that you may get a jog through on the field. If he's still a non-participant, you'd have to think that Beathard is going to be in line to start against the Saints.
Ryan Tannehill, the Titans quarterback, when you last saw him on Sunday, he was standing around watching the game because the x-ray room was on the other side of the stadium. Cart had to come get him. State-of-the-art Tottenham Hotspur dual-purpose soccer football stadium, but for whatever reason on that side of the field, guy had to wait for the cart to come get him to go to the x-ray room. High ankle sprain, same ankle he injured last year. They're going into their bye. They've got Malik Willis and Will Levis. Willis has developed better, I think, than they expected. Maybe they wouldn't have drafted Will Levis if they knew what Willis was going to be this year. Willis is currently the number 2. Myles, I won't be surprised if we don't see Tannehill again for the Titans.
Yeah.
Not he's going to be traded. I think that, just injured reserve, doesn't play again this year, free agency he leaves, and it's Willis versus Levis next year for the starting job.
Maybe. I mean, it's really unfortunate for Tannehill. And, he's getting up there in age, and we saw it last year with Matt Ryan. When it goes quickly. And, the Titans have not been able to get much consistency out of their run game, so that doesn't help. But Mike, I'll tell you, man, you said that Malik Willis has developed, and it's not like they've developed a game plan around him this year when he needs to be in there. But in limited snaps on Sunday, I wrote the story of PFT yesterday. That's why I know this offhand. He had 18 snaps, and he took 4 sacks and another sack that was wiped off via penalty. 44% of his dropbacks, limited dropbacks, yes, this year, he has been sacked. I think over his career when he's played, it's something around 15%. That is far too many sacks to be taking as a quarterback. And it's not all on the offensive line. A lot of that is on the QB. So if Malik Willis is going to play, then he cannot get sacked like that. He's got to learn how to get rid of the ball better, or if he's going to extend the play, then throw it away, or, get moving vertically and not horizontally so he can get some yards. But you cannot take sacks like that as a quarterback.
And if Ryan Tannehill really is reaching the end of the road, think back to that draft class of 2012. Andrew Luck, long gone. RG3, long gone. Ryan Tannehill, maybe done. Brandon Weeden, remember him. Russell Wilson, yes. Sun is setting. Kirk Cousins, still going strong. The 4th-round pick that year out of Michigan State. So the 2012, at least first-round class, could be done for good. I don't know. We'll see if Ryan Tannehill finds a spot next year. I don't want to get premature. We may see him back with the Titans. Who knows? Maybe we'll see him back after the bye. I just have a feeling it's moving toward a conclusion. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.